October is LGBTQ plus History Month, and Scott has done a phenomenal job of putting together a destination that celebrates the trials and triumphs of the LGBTQ plus community. So Scott, please give us a guided tour.
Gordon, I know you said it was going to be, a diverse group of voices, but it's me again. So here, let's go.
Right. I'm an overall.
It's me again.
Welcome to Scott to Scott.
This is my show. Let's change the name of it. Let's go. Scott to watch.
I'll see you guys later.
All right. So we're going to do a deep dive on LGBTQ plus History Month. Honestly, it's the perfect time to brush up on your queer community history. For those of you unfamiliar, it's October. It is Halloween time, which is like gay Christmas, but it's also LGBTQ plus History Month. Within this fabulous destination that I've created here for you, we have recommended viewing for every LGBTQ plus person. It includes titles like Paris is Burning and Moonlight. We also have shows and specials with teachable moments. One of my favorite that just came out is the Book of Queer. Highly, highly recommend you take a look at that one. There's some really fun factoids in there, but it's sort of like a drunken history meets gay culture, I guess. It's really, really fun, and it's done in a really cool, lighthearted way. We have highlights on community pioneers and then modern day activists. We have trivia in this space. And then we also brought back one of my favorite pieces from our Pride Month destination, which was You Cannot Be Erased. And this is basically an abridged history of LGBTQ plus representation in media. So it deep dives into everything. You can find out when the first kiss happened on screen. You can find out the first Emmy nominations for a transgender female, first lesbian SNL character. It's just tons of information there, but in a fun way. It's the first time we've ever done something like this where it's a little bit sort of like a BuzzFeed article, if you will, to dumb it down a little bit, but then you can actually click through and watch the content directly on the platform, which is a super fun and unique way to kind of approach this. And then, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't speak about the abridged history of LGBTQ plus characters in video games, because Gordon's here. Gordon loves video games. I just happen to be gay. I don't know if you guys know that. But yeah, gaming and queer culture. Gaming and queer culture, it's been, much like horror movies, it's been an interesting space for us to try and navigate. We haven't always had the best representation. But we continue to hang on to this culture, and we find our groups within there. So that's why we have gamers. That's gamers with a Y. And we've sort of created this small subset where we can find fun and play games with each other. Who doesn't love playing games with each other? So that's just like in a nutshell some of the top line, I guess, of what we have going for LGBTQ plus History Month. And if it's all right with you guys, I would love to throw you both under the bus.
Oh, good.
No, right. I don't want to be thrown under
put you, I guess, against the coals, if you will, to see if you're actually an ally of LGBTQ plus folks with some fun trivia. Everybody loves trivia, right? There's no hidden agenda here at all.
There's a lot writing on it.
All right. So if our team behind the scenes could go ahead and throw to question 1. These are multiple choice, which should be super easy for you guys. I can't imagine getting any of these wrong. Right. The first question for you. This is, by the way, you guys are going head to head. So whoever has the most points is considered ally of the year. And the other one is immediately canceled by me. Okay, cool.
Stop it. No.
Right. So after the release of the documentary film Back on Board, a petition was created and allowed which athlete to appear on a Wheaties box. The options here are Billie Jean King, Tom Daley, Greg Louganis, and Megan Rapinoe. We'll go with you first, Rose.
I'm going to say Greg Louganis.
Okay. Gordon.
I'm going to second that emotion. And if you're at home, feel free to play too. Scott can cancel you as well.
I can do it from here. Don't worry. Cancel power. All right. The correct answer is, drum roll, Greg Louganis.
Hey.
All right.
Come on.
Super ally.
Right? He's super ally pack with powers activate. He's one of the world's most famous divers, winning several Olympic gold medals for America. But in the late 80s, if you're not familiar, he was competing and actually smashed his head on the board.
That's what I remember, yep.
Yeah, and it actually required stitches. And I know that doesn't necessarily sound significant, but fast forward 7 years when he actually revealed that he was not only gay, but had been diagnosed with HIV before that competition. And, you know, back then the fear and stigma around AIDS and LGBTQ identity was sort of pervasive. And it really forced a much needed conversation about AIDS in America. So thank you, Greg. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting him, and he's incredible and, you know, did the America a service. So thank you. Great job, guys. So 1-1. This is awesome. You're doing well. Haven't been
super
canceled.
allies.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Birdo from Super Mario Bros. 2 boasts the honor of being the world's first trans character in a video game. True or false?
Huh?
And should I go first?
Yeah, let's go with Gordon since you're the gaming editor here.
I want to say false.
Okay, interesting.
Remind me what Birdo looks like.
He's like, she. Oh my God. She is basically like Pink Yoshi.
Okay, I'm gonna say false with Gordon.
First off, I would like to apologize to Birdo for using her incorrect pronouns. My apologies, my sincerest apologies. But this is actually true. Birdo is the first trans character in a video game. It happened in the late 80s, I believe it was 1988. In the Super Mario Bros. 2 manual, which, you know, if you remember back in the day, Gordon, when games had manuals, Birdo was described as, he thinks he is a girl and he spits eggs from his mouth. He'd rather be called Birdetta. It's a real problem.
I didn't read the manual. I would have known it. I just went straight to playing the game.
I mean, it's okay. It's all right. I mean, Birdo was
you didn't know it would come up
character.
30 years later.
Yeah, but see, look, kids, read your manuals. We're not going to deep dive, into how problematic that description is. I mean, it's obviously blatantly disregarding Birdo's preferred pronouns and trans identity. But these days, Birdo is, she's presented as a female for the most part, and she's looking super glam. I mean, look at her feeling her tennis fantasy. And I don't think you can see it in this image, but she's always seen with a giant, huge, rock of a diamond on her finger. And she's a boss babe. So we love Birdo. Stan, the first trans icon of gaming. So thank you, Birdo, for everything that you've done.
In my defense, I knew Birdo was trans. I thought that there was something else.
You thought I was throwing a bait and switch.
I thought it was a curve, yeah.
Like
an egg being spit out of Birdo's mouth.
Ooh, I can hear the music in my head now, Gordon. All right. On to the next question. So we're still at 1 point. Okay, we're not going to cancel you on Birdo. Gordon, you get a half point just because you knew that Birdo was trans. Okay, let's go. Glenn Burke was not only the first openly gay MLB player, he's also credited with creating what? The curveball, Big League Chew, the high five, or the locker room butt slap.
What is this?
We're going to start with Rose first. I'm so excited for this one.
You guys. Okay. MLB, it has to do with the sport ball.
MLB is a sport ball. You're right.
Okay.
It is.
I don't know why. For some reason, my gut's telling me to go with Big League Chew because it has to do with bubblegum, and I used to love Big League Chew when I was growing up. I'll just go with that just because.
Okay, heard.
I was in my 30s, 30 years of tobacco. I just thought it was awesome gum.
Same!
I was like, oh, this is the best gum ever. And then it never, it's like candy cigarettes we used to eat. We didn't realize that
it didn't occur to me about that.
All right. So I'm going to talk through this. So I know it's not locker room butt slap because I invented that. I imagine Big League Chew was probably invented by Wrigley or some corporation somewhere. The high five, did that get it started baseball? I don't know. So I'm going to go with the curveball.
Oh, interesting. Differing answers. I love this. So ready to cancel both of you. Just kidding. The answer is the high five. Believe it or not. Yeah. What?
All right.
So, fun fact, in 1977, Burke ran onto the field to congratulate his Dodgers teammate, Dusty Baker, for hitting his 30th home run. Burke just raised his hand over his head and Baker slapped it, and then fireworks and glitter went off. Okay, so maybe not that. But it definitely, was the first time that a high five had been recorded. And ever since, sports ballers have been high-fiving. And it kind of became a thing for the Dodgers. That was sort of their whole congratulatory moment. So straight sports baller fans, remember, every time your team scores and you go to high-five your bro, you can thank a gay man for that. You're welcome.
Do I get half credit? Do I get half credit for inventing the butt slap?
Okay.
So we have to high five now. 2 high fives.
Yes. That's a lot of high fives happening in this episode. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Glenn Burke. All right. So we have one more question. We'll see if we can go. And then if we have to, we'll go into the tiebreaker. So I think we might need to, or try and give Rose a moment to redeem herself here, since Gordon is ahead by half a point. And if you thought I was favoring Gordon with a gaming question, here I come in hot with a kids question. In 2002, Stephen Hillenburg revealed that SpongeBob is asexual. True or false?
Should I go first?
Rose will go first.
I'm going to say true.
True. Okay. Gordon.
I'm going to say true. And I know this because there was just a meme that SpongeBob was having trouble with his girlfriend or something. And people were like, SpongeBob is asexual.
I love that you have all of this knowledge of SpongeBob.
Right. I said in my spare time, I play video games and eat chips. That's a lie. I'm online looking at SpongeBob memes, apparently.
Love it. Okay, so you are both correct. Yes, he did confirm that SpongeBob is asexual, and he was actually part of Nickelodeon's Pride campaign, I think, this last year. And of course, Stephen probably, suggested this because Sea Sponge in real life are asexual and they reproduce that way. But he also made it a point to explain why SpongeBob resonates with queer people. And I think that's largely in part because the show sort of has this attitude about tolerance. And we all love that. We stand a tolerant sponge. So yes, great job. Okay, so Rose, Gordon is still technically ahead.
I would say he's got the advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, I shouldn't win based on.
No, it's fine. So we have a tiebreaker here. Well, this is going to be for extra points, all the marbles, if you will. Gordon is half a point ahead, but Rose, you can steal it from him right here with this final question. Okay, here we go. Which 90s series featured the first kiss between a gay couple on network television? Will and Grace, LA Law, My So-Called Life, or Friends?
Oh, which 90s?
Who goes first?
Gordon.
Let's go Gordon first because, Rose has been going first, I think, for the past few. I haven't really been, keeping up with that.
I watched all of these shows except for My So-Called Life, and I am going with LA Law.
Interesting. Rose?
Tests. I really don't do well on tests.
Is it because you didn't study or?
You know how they always say go with the first answer that you think is right.
Yeah.
I want to do that, but then I'm always like, but wait, what about this? And then that person said this, and then I start over analyzing.
TikTok.
And I'm gonna go with Will and Grace.
Okay. All right. The correct answer is LA Law.
And you know how I knew that? I absolutely knew the answer, but I downplayed it because I didn't want Rose to pick my answer because I studied Scott's LGBTQ plus history channel.
Yes.
And that was one of the colored segments.
Well done, Gordon. You did your homework. Kids. Rose, I'm sorry, you're canceled.
Happy
Gordon,
cancellation, Rose.
Ally of the year. Killed it. To be fair, and in Rose's defense, all of these shows are very, very queer friendly and definitely worth a watch. They all had iconic queer moments throughout history. So definitely worth watching. But LA Law, yes, it boasts the accolade of having the first kiss between a gay couple on network television. So well done. I don't think you can actually watch LA Law anywhere at the moment. It's not available on any services, but they still did a thing. So very excited about that.
And I wasn't lying. I did watch LA Law and Will and Grace and Friends, but I didn't remember because it's a million years ago.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So for Scott's like amazingly like well put together mix of entertainment, education, say LGBTQ plus History Month in your Xfinity voice remote, you'll be taken right there.